Who owned the Texas School Book Depository in November 1963 when shots were fired at President John F. Kennedy from the building? Alright, buckle up because this story is wilder than a Texas rodeo. At the time of the assassination, the Texas School Book Depository was owned by one David Byrd, known simply as D.H. Byrd to his friends or co-conspirators, depending on how deep you want to go. Now, most people don't immediately recognize his name, but Byrd wasn't just some random book warehouse owner. Oh no, he was deep in the Texas oil scene, rubbing elbows with some of the most powerful men in the state. Two of his closest pals were Clint Murchison and H.L. Hunt, who were big-time oil barons with very cozy ties to none other than then Vice President Lyndon B. Johnson. Nothing suspicious about that, right? But Byrd wasn't just about oil money. The man had serious connections to the military and intelligence world. His company, Ling Temco Vought, was a major defense contractor that so conveniently made a killing during the Vietnam War, which escalated under, you guessed it, Lyndon B. Johnson. But wait, there's more. Byrd was also the founder of the Civil Air Patrol, an organization that, while officially focused on search and rescue, had deep ties to the defense and intelligence communities. During World War II, Byrd himself commanded a Civil Air Patrol anti-submarine base in Beaumont, Texas. But here's where things get extra spicy. The Civil Air Patrol wasn't just about spotting lost hikers. It also served as a grooming ground for future military and intelligence officers, even sending recruits to the Army Counterintelligence School in Maryland, where they learned the Russian language, Russian military tactics, Russian politics, and the characteristics of the Russian people. Sound a bit like defector training? Because that's exactly the kind of knowledge Lee Harvey Oswald would have needed before conveniently defecting to the Soviet Union. And speaking of Oswald, let's talk about how ridiculously interconnected this all is. Byrd's Civil Air Patrol had none other than Lee Harvey Oswald and David Ferrie as members. Ferrie, if you don't know, was a high-ranking Civil Air Patrol officer with alleged ties to intelligence agencies, organized crime, and anti-Castro operations. And it just so happens that young Oswald was mentored by Ferrie through this very organization. Coincidence? Maybe, but it gets better. Byrd also had ties to George de Mohrenschildt, a shadowy figure with CIA connections who just so happened to be Oswald's friend and mentor. De Mohrenschildt helped Oswald and his wife Marina settle in Dallas. And, drumroll please, he even helped Oswald land a job at the Texas School Book Depository. You know, the place where the so-called lone gunman fired the fatal shots. What are the odds? Now, here's where Byrd takes things from suspicious to outright bizarre. After the assassination, it has been widely reported that he had the very window Oswald allegedly shot from removed and kept it as a personal souvenir. Not creepy at all, right? I mean, who wouldn't want to preserve a piece of history where a sitting U.S. president was murdered? Totally normal behavior. And then we get to Byrd's mysterious alibi. In the weeks leading up to the assassination, he was supposedly on a big game hunting trip in Africa. But here's where it gets weird. He allegedly visited a camp in Mozambique. The only problem being that when German photographer Christian von Alvensleben released the pictures he took at that same camp in 1963, the man claiming to be Byrd looked absolutely nothing like him. So, either Byrd had the worst case of jet lag in history, or someone went to great lengths to impersonate him. Which raises the obvious question, why? At this point, we're way past coincidence and deep into "are you kidding me" territory. How likely is it that a wealthy Texas oil tycoon, a military intelligence-connected youth program, a supposed lone gunman, and a bunch of CIA-affiliated mentors all just happened to intersect at the exact moment of one of the most shocking assassinations in history? So what do you think? Just a series of freak accidents and chance encounters? Or does this all point to something much bigger? Let us know in the comments because this rabbit hole goes way deep.